Welcome to EDU TV with 4.5 lakh plus viewers and over 1,500 educational repositories across the world. The founder is Mr. Pranav Guha and co-founder is Ms. Tanya Sefi.
Hello everyone and welcome to our program. It's a matter of principles. Today, we are joined by school leaders from across the world to discuss the topic. The relentless pursuit of high marks often leads to neglect of holistic learning. As we all know, education plays a vital role in shaping the future of our society. And with the increasing pressure on students to perform well academically, it's important to take a step back and examine the impact of this pressure it is having on their overall development. Our panelists today are experienced educators who have dedicated their lives to the field of education. They come from different parts of the world and have different perspectives on the topic.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Pranavji. It's actually an honor for me to be amongst so many interesting and extremely profound set of education leaders, I would say. And I was taking a look at the lineup that Pranav, that you had invited for this particular session. I was amazed because all of them have led their respective domains in a most interesting way. I have done some bit of a understanding, but equally important for me, and I think it was exciting for me, was the topic that you had put in front of all of us. The relentless pursuit of high marks often leads to neglect of holistic learning. And the first thought that I got, and I started thinking about it, in journalism and in creative studies, we always tell our students and learners that as we grow older, one thing happens with all of us is that we stop learning to a larger extent, number one. Number two, the another aspect which happens is that our curiosity levels go down big time. We start getting conditioned over and over again. Expectations keep on growing. Now, in the entire race of getting new things done and acquiring new knowledge, we often miss out on the smallest thing which makes us human, which makes us the creative species, so-called. And that is the curiosity part of it, and excitement part of it. So I often say in my own classes that I think the first of the things that everybody should keep in mind is to retain this childlike curiosity in us. Now, the topic itself, holistic learning, is a very overarching large space that we can discuss about, and we can keep on discussing for till the time. But the fact of the matter is that the pressures that we see around us, whether in the schools or in the universities, kind of makes it an ideal situation where this particular holistic learning should happen. But in effect, in praxis, we often miss out on those on a day-to-day basis. So I think the purpose with which we all start, and all of you are leaders in this space, the education's purpose itself is to enable people to acquire knowledge and develop skills which make them successful members of the society. For me, sirs, I think having successful members of the society also means whether we are able to utilize our knowledge, skills to impact the world. And if we are unable to do it, how can we be successful members of the society? It's not the material gains that we're looking for. Other side of the picture also is that we need to have those particular skill sets which actually give us that particular occupation of doing things eventually in life, whatever they may be. But when you go back to the learning part of it, I think many times I've also seen it, and this is an acquired learning which I have done it, which means is that many times success and education often are also largely misunderstood. So, I mean, if you see, is a high grades going to be the successful parameter, or is it going to be something which you want to pursue and want to be happy with? So happiness and the success in terms of material are the two things which often go in different directions. But we know that, and many of you in terms of the schools that you lead today and education areas that you lead today, you have been able to showcase that both things are definitely possible. So I think we don't need people or the learners tomorrow who are run-of-the-mill kind of characteristics, those people. We don't want them. And interestingly today, sir, the practicing world, whichever area that you want to go, is also looking for people who are specialists in domains, who are larger than just the skill or the knowledge that they bring to the table. It's slightly larger than that. That's why different education models are being pursued at the school level and even at the university level. It's an interesting area. And as I said, it's a very profound thought that all of you would have it. what I wanted to do is I wanted to start this session by inviting each one of you to put your thoughts on the topic. Deepika ma'am, I know that you were, I believe, busy in your examinations. I would want you to take a shot at this particular topic and put in your views, and then I'll come to some other guests as well.
Very good afternoon. Thank you for having me. And I think I'm pretty excited to be part of this panel, and also about the times that we live in, because we're talking about changes in education, which is happening because we feel, and why not? Because everything is dynamic. So high time we stopped even thinking that the scores is what, because CET has come in for higher education. In fact, I know for decades we've been pushing students to just get better scores. And they were like good 5 years into their job before they realized what was missing. I would say life skills, I would say self-awareness, I would say confidence, all that, because their education was all about scores. It was not about, having to learn about, say, innovation. It was not about making them good communicators. It was not about critical thinking, logical thinking, any of the life skills that we need. In fact, they were at crossroads, whether they were graduates, postgraduates, about what to do, how to do, So, and for that, I would not say just because we are a CBSE school, we were limited. I think there is enough parental pressure, even till date, where the parents feel that the children still need to score high, and they really do not understand when the school goes and says that these are the things that we do. They're going to ask you how much is done in the notebooks, how much homework is being given. Of course, there are few progressive parents, things are changing, but I guess, the orientation and counseling of parents at this point is equally important. The role of the teacher in a school, I feel, she needs to, or he needs to, manage the social, emotional, academic needs of the child equally. And specifically, the 2 years of isolation where the children were not meeting with each other, the challenges were immense last year. And the second semester, I feel, was a little better off. So when you say holistic learning, I feel that it's about experiential learning. It needs to be more personalized. It should consider the community it is taking care of. Then I think it also helps in strengthening the foundations, both as in your academic life and professional life. Most of the time, what we are teaching in the school and the way we are teaching is not helping them or equipping them for their later life. I also feel that we need to move from academic-centered schools to learning-centered schools, where learning is taking place at every level, and we focus on that itself. So I think once this is done, it's going to really help a lot. And I feel NEP 2020 is bringing in that change, though it might be on the papers, and slowly it would make inroads into our interiors, because India still is divided into the rural and the urban education centers. So I feel the urban areas are doing a pretty good job, whereas rural, of course, it's picking up. Yes, not all, I agree with that, sir. But yes, at least they're picking up, because I tell you, we have a Sahodaya where we have a lot of people coming together, the heads of the school, the second line of leaders, and there is a need felt to take education in that direction. As far as scores are concerned, of course, scores for higher, like now it's, of course, 90% is still required, 75% is still required, but then I guess not up to class 8th at least. In fact, even up to 9th, where you're laying the foundation for higher classes, but you can, of course, have the laying down of stronger concepts, where this is what I say, it needs to be learning centric, where children are learning more. Here, what we have is that we're ensuring the report cards look great with all the A's. And the parents are happy with the A's, but are we doing justice with what we are? So I guess we have to take those steps. And I think next 10 years are pretty crucial in us being the leaders in our own field and passing that on to our teams where they understand. And like I said, we need to take all the stakeholders equally in our, you know, radius of learning and teaching pedagogy, where we say, okay, the children, I think, would be more open to it. The parents, yes, would be bigger challenges. Meanwhile, the schools need to go on being more progressive and move on to from being just pursuit, because there have been, like I said, decades, at least 2 decades of where I have taught in last 2 decades, where we find that the children come back to you after many years and say, you know, we really did not know how to pen down this, which was required. And what we learned was just getting scores and doing better in PCM or any other core subjects. So exciting time, but a lot of development and basically undercurrent of are we open to changing ourselves, unlearning and relearning what is required in terms of educators and leaders of the teams.
Sure. Thank you so much, Deepika ma'am. I think this was interesting, again, takeaway from a learning systems, as you're talking about, the learning centered, kind of ecosystem that we need to have in the schools. And I think you very rightly said it. Today, if you look at it, and I think you talked about your alumni when they go out and they come back and they were talking about they were doing the feedback. From a university perspective, if you ask me, this is exactly how we also, get to the students do come into the system, a very bright students actually from the schools. And they take up a degree program or the course. Maybe at the moment they reach the PG, they say, can we do this something different? Because Sunday they realized that the pathway they wanted to take something was something slightly different, and they were never able to, take those opportunities. And NEP from that context actually opens up the entire, what you call landscape for us. So that's a good point.
Ladies and gentlemen, as students of Delhi Public School, Bangalore East, we, Ashriya and Melanie, are excited to announce that EDU TV has started a movement for higher education for all.
We are proud to inform you that corporates and Indian private universities have joined this movement by offering scholarships to eligible schools across the Indian subcontinent, Southeast Asia, Gulf countries, and Africa.
These scholarships are based on merit, sports, extracurricular activities, need-based, principal's recommendation, innovation by students, girl scholars, wards of defense personnel, daughters and sons of teachers, admission aspirants from remote places, SARC country aspirants, students who studied in war zones, single parent, students with more than 2 siblings, and students whose parents are not eligible for bank loans.
This is a fantastic opportunity for many students, and we are thrilled to see the positive impact it will have on their education. We urge other school corporates and universities to join this movement and
support higher education for all. Thank you.